Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the 157 show. Once again, my name is Jonathan. Thank y'all for tuning in. Sitting over here is Austin. He's not Auburn Austin this time. He's just Austin. They lost.
Yeah,
so.
y'all will see the edits, but third time's the charm.
Yeah, this is the third take we've tried this beginning.
We got it. We're good to go now.
Yep. So this episode is going to be a Week 10, a review of LSU versus Alabama and Auburn versus Texas A&M.
Good job.
I screwed that up last time. But before we even dive into anything, thank y'all for tuning in first. I think I said that already once. Second, make sure you hit the subscribe button, the like button. Make sure you drop a comment below. Let us know what you thought about the games.
Because there's definitely talking points about both of these
there's
games.
Big time talking points.
Yeah, 100%. There's a lot of fluky stuff going on.
And make sure you share it out. Let your friends, family, bring them on over.
Coworkers
check it
too.
out. Yeah, coworkers will allow those in.
Yeah. I show it to my coworkers. They laugh at me.
Yeah, I don't necessarily do that. They do look at it. So
Yeah.
But first, Auburn played Texas A&M. It was definitely a very offensive explosion. Not.
No, it was an implosion.
Yeah.
It was an explosion. It was implosion.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
So I'm gonna give the defense an A.
Yeah, I would too.
Because you held a top 10, top 15 team to less than defensively 12 points.
Now, before we even dive in, on last week's episode, I said you guys would lose if you allowed more than 150 rushing yards, Texas A&M.
Yeah, I said we would win if we held them to less than 150.
You obviously lost, and you obviously didn't hold them to 150 rushes.
That was like 202, 203 yards. And you saw it. Spiller.
That was a big time.
Yeah, and I got
swing.
the stats down here a little bit. The Spiller had 112 yards, and then the other guy, Achan, maybe? I'm not sure how I pronounce his name.
I can't even say it right.
Yeah, I can't. 98 yards.
Yeah, I mean the rushing game for them was key for them moving the ball. I mean, it was just that's the way it was,
and it worked out in their favor. One thing that I found concerning was how badly or how good their offensive line was. I can't really describe it. It was just we couldn't get pressure on Calzada. We couldn't stop the run. But it's fine because it was a bend don't break. They gave up over I think 400 total yards total yards, but they never scored a touchdown.
right?
I mean,
when I looked at the beginning of the fourth quarter, it was 3-3. If I remember correctly, it was 3-3, maybe 3-6. It was some low score.
I think they kicked a field goal towards the end of the third quarter. Maybe it was 6-3.
It was a very close game. Easily could swing either way.
Correct, but it couldn't swing either way because Auburn couldn't get their anything going.
Bo Nix with the fumble.
Yeah, so
that right there, I think, kind of killed the vibe.
That's the failed flea flicker, which was a play before the fumble.
Yeah.
Those are two of the 6 plays that won Texas A&M the game.
And you guys got the bad Bo Nix.
Yeah, so
I feel like
if you go back to the video with LSU where I talked about the old scrambling and gambling, got it right that time. Talk about that. You see it when I was worried about it and seeing how it may cause issues in the future. And you saw it here. You saw Bo Nix, the bad road Bo Nix.
Yep.
You saw him return. Yep. You saw it. You saw the frustration. I'm okay with the frustration, though. When I texted you during the game, I said, you see Bo Nix lose his shit. Excuse my French.
He was mad. He was mad.
And I'm okay with him being mad.
Yeah.
But I don't want him to do that every week. But at that time, it was a good time to get mad.
Yeah.
To show that frustration. Because everyone...
Try and fire the team up and get them play on the same page.
It came from a good place, in my opinion. So, Bo Nix, he was 20 for 41, 153 yards. Had a costly fumble.
Yep.
I mean, that was the
only score of the game, wasn't it?
The only touchdown. The scoop and score. Yeah. So that was the one that cost them the game. 4 sacks, and there was only one true explosive play off of offense. So I'm defining an explosive play as 15 yards or more. There was one to a tight end, Luke Deal. He got a 15-yard pass.
Yeah.
Other than that, your longest play from scrimmage was in the first quarter where Tank, I think, busted off a 14-yard run.
Okay, speaking of tight ends, is the big guy that was there a couple years ago, is he still there?
Man,
really, really tall. I mean, I'm talking like 400 pounds.
You talking about J.J. Pegues?
Maybe. Yes.
Yeah, they used him kind of like in a running back capacity.
Yes.
Yeah. So he actually flipped over the defensive side of the ball this year. Yeah.
Okay.
He hasn't seen a lot of playing time, which learning a new system, learning a new position, I understand that.
New coach and everything too.
So, for sure. The game overall was relatively close. except for the time of possession. Actually, that was also close. The thing that cost them the game was the getting down there and kicking field goals and missing field goals on Auburn's side. So
I'll be honest, I was rooting for. I don't really know who I was rooting for, because if we were to lose, Texas A&M would have been in the.
Or they control their own destiny to the SEC West.
That's what I'm saying.
They win out,
and we lose
and they
one
lose
game.
One game.
We lose
over.
one game, we're done.
That's why. Yeah.
So.
Drop passes. Both teams were affected by the drop passes early on, especially, and then Tank had 69 yards. Nice.
Yeah, I mean that's
and then Hunter was
that's a big stat though, because I mean running the ball with Tank is a big thing of the offense. Yeah,
especially like Brian Hart's nice to throw 2 tight ends on there and just go with it. So I like that, like big
old school football.
Big strong running game. I like that. I mean, I was really not. I don't know. I really don't know what to say besides offense was just atrocious. Like it was abysmal. It didn't exist. I want to talk about it, but I mean, I've already said everything I could say. There's not a lot to say.
Right. And
defense did great. I mean,
there's not much you can really do. I mean, you did enough to win. I feel like on defense.
Defense did well.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. And, we gave them an A+ at the beginning of the episode.
Yeah.
And I mean, to me, I feel like they played good enough to win the game, and offense let them down. So I mean, maybe just Bo Nix let them down with the fumble, because I think even without the fumble, it was still winning. It was still winnable.
Yeah. So I think where it occurred is when they kicked the field goal, it was 9-3.
Mm-hmm.
I think once it became 9-3, Bo got antsy. Bo was he had to play that hero ball.
Yep.
And he had to do scramble and gamble all weekend or all week, all game, because he was having trouble because the offensive line couldn't get anything going. They couldn't establish blocking or running lanes through the blocking. They could not pass pro at all. So he was just running around the whole time.
Yeah, and I mean,
but when he got antsy, you saw the frustration start to mount. You saw the production not being there already. You just, in a hostile environment, it was the second largest crowd in Kyle Field history. So just everything was stacked against him.
Which is crazy because, I mean, it's not, I mean,
it
was a big time game, but it wasn't like
a top 15 matchup.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't
2 and 3.
Right, yeah.
So, yeah, it was abysmal. Offense was awful. I give him like a D.
D on offense, A+ on defense.
Not A+, I give him an A.
Just a solid A.
Yeah. Well, I always preach about Derek Mason making these second half adjustments, but from the get-go, he had it dialed in.
Right. And I stood by this from day one. I think Derek Mason's a good defensive coach. And I think even when at Stanford, he was, I mean.
I give him 2 or 3 years at Auburn, if that.
He's gone?
Yep.
Gone as
Which is what I
for
want.
another head coach position, or gone just to another program?
Yeah. Because you're a defensive coordinator in a top 25 program.
Yeah. I mean.
You can't really upgrade to another defensive coordinator position.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, I mean.
I'm trying to kind of look over things real quickly and see, but I think ultimately what happened was, I do have a quote I want to read, but ultimately you're in Kyle Field, you're struggling to move.
One of the loudest places to play, first off, with that many people. That's loud.
Yeah, you're there, you're struggling, you can't get your run game going, you can't get your pass game going. Your defense is playing good ball, and it's setting the team up. The defense set the team up at midfield, around midfield several times,
right?
And you came away with 3 points total.
Yeah.
And you just can't have that.
What's crazy to me is 3 points in today's style of football is just practically just unheard of.
No, yeah.
I mean, just
3.
I mean, most teams even just score a touchdown, at least, one. But just holding someone to just 3 points, it's wild. Now, if that may be Texas A&M's defense, or that may be the lack of offensive production on the Auburn side.
After looking at the game this weekend and really thinking about it, I think A&M may have definitely top 5 defense.
Yeah.
In the SEC, I would argue top 3.
Fisher is turning the program, I think, around. Now he lost quarterback, and this is his first time with Calzada, which wasn't even going to be the starting quarterback at the beginning of the season.
Zach Haynes.
Yeah, Zach Haynes or something like that was supposed to be the starting guy. He got hurt like the week of the first game.
Yeah,
and so he's Calzada has been a work in progress, and I think it's he's finally getting the confidence. I think so. It's
showing, and they're moving the ball. They're getting hot, just like Auburn was at the same time. So
good time to get hot.
Yeah, for sure. Parting notes, I'm going to just say that Texas A&M did exactly what Auburn did to Ole Miss.
Yeah.
Ole Miss came into Auburn with Auburn having a bye week. And that's exactly, Auburn went to Texas A&M with Texas A&M having the bye week.
Yep.
And you see how it occurred. So the final statement I want to make is this is the funniest thing I think I read all weekend. And I quote, Auburn's offense dug itself a hole so deep in College Station, Texas, that it's a model miracle the Tigers didn't strike oil at Calfield. Moving on to Alabama and LSU.
I don't even know where to start. First off,
let's start with Robinson was 13 carries for 18 yards.
For the team, though, they were held to 6 yards rushing.
I'm assuming that's with the sacks included.
I'm assuming so.
Yeah, because if it's sack adjusted, I would assume it'd be net positive. Higher than that, though.
The previous low in the Nick Saban era was in 2007, a loss to LSU, which the Tide managed 33 yards on 20 carries. So 2007 to 2021.
It's called 15 years. 14 years.
And you're held 6 yards?
What happened? Why can't let me pause you. Let me ask the viewers, why can't anyone run the ball versus LSU?
Drop
your comments below about that.
I will tell you just from what I saw, and this is where my frustration comes in. There were times we had 2 wide and then single back. Just a basic, look like a running play. Just like I said, I'm just a fan. I'm not a college football expert.
Run of the mill play.
Just
run
a
of the mill
basic
personnel play.
2 wide receivers and 2 tight ends and just basic run of the mill play. LSU had 8 guys standing on the line of scrimmage. The 8 guys stand at the line of scrimmage, and we're calling deep passes that take time to develop. And with our offensive line that is, at this point, cut and patched, I mean, you can't do that. This is by far the worst offensive line I have seen from an Alabama team in
I'm so
years.
glad you brought up the offensive line because literally in my notes right here, I put, for the lack of blocking, Young performed well.
Yes.
302 yards passing.
And I'm gonna say,
and you're talking about 8 people in the box, and this man threw up 302 yards.
He more or less bought time with his feet.
And we've talked about that the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, he literally, and I mean literally, carried the team on offense this past weekend.
Well, yeah, you didn't have a run game.
I mean, literally carried the team, and he made critical runs on third down when we needed to get them. And now I'll get into defense in just a minute.
No, I want to talk more about the offense too.
The offense. What he did phenomenal. He alone did phenomenal.
Yeah.
Everyone else shit the bed.
Yeah. Let me say this. I hope y'all are enjoying Alabama struggling and us ripping them a new one right now.
Yes, and now
because they deserve it.
Don't get me wrong. He had to get the 300. Someone had to catch the ball. Yeah. Williams 10 catches, 160 yards.
Yeah. One of those is like a 58-yard bomb or something, or it may have been Mechie.
This is my point on this. 8 guys in the box. Why?
You can't run the ball.
Why? And we can't run. Why did we just not continue to throw? There's no reason why it should have been as close as it should have been. I know we want to run the ball, and that's kind of like more or less our bread and butter this year with Robinson.
But it's not. Let me tell you this.
Throw the ball. 8 guys standing there. Throw the ball.
Listen to this. I didn't know this. Alabama is struggling with running the ball.
Yes.
I'm not sure if you realized it, but they have 3 of the past 5 teams that they've faced have been bottom half of the SEC, and they've had nothing going for them.
Yeah, I
running
believe
the ball.
I believe it. Robinson was 13 carries for 18 yards, and then Bryce Young took the sacks, and this is where it kind of went. The 22 yards.
Yeah.
But you think about that. Negative 22 yards, and I just said he had rushing yards to get third down. So how bad was it really? I mean,
it was bad.
I mean, it was terrible. We probably would have had negative rush yards, had we not been able to do a little something on offense.
So, kind of switching defense here. LSU had 3 drives in the Alabama territory in the fourth quarter and came up empty-handed. 4.
Yeah.
This game should have been a blowout. LSU should have won this game.
No doubt. In my mind, no doubt. Now, I will say this. This game was one of the better games for the defense. Even though it was a closer game, it was one of the better games for the defense. And I think the reason it was a closer game, you couldn't get the running game going. I'm putting it solely on the run game, why it was close. Bryce threw 300 yards, 300 plus yards.
Yeah, 302.
And I think solely it was on the run game. I mean, I'm going to stick with it.
No, but it's not
Will
the run
Anderson
game.
had 8 tackles. Well, I guess it was more than it was 12 tackles.
12
really.
tackles, yeah.
But including
Four,
assists and
four,
stuff.
yeah.
But a sack and a half, and then other people had sacks, 2, 3. I mean, there's 4 or 5 sacks here, and they just, I mean, they locked it down when they needed to. But I'm still sticking with my story of the rushing game was why it was so close.
But let me take the pressure off the run game with this statement, because you answered your own question earlier. It starts at the offensive line.
Yeah, no doubt.
So because offensive line, with Auburn saying, I said the same thing at Auburn. They could not pass pro. They could not open up run lanes.
Yep.
And that happened this weekend with Alabama as well. So, I mean, we can place some blame on the running backs.
Yep.
But
if
at the
the
same
line did
time,
his job, you would have had rushing lanes.
correct. So
That's what I mean.
you have to. You can't blame it all on the run game.
And here's the thing. Like I said before, we had to cut and patch. The right, let's see, the center went down earlier, I think, with left guard. There was a player that went down on the line. So then we had to bring in a freshman right tackle. I do remember that. And the right tackle that we had went to center.
Yeah, I mean, you have to move people around. When somebody gets hurt, you have to shuffle.
And the
Auburn did a lot of that this weekend too.
I mean, the timing and everything, it's thrown off. The communication's thrown off. And we definitely saw a lot of that, and especially when they were putting 8 guys in the box. 8 guys at the line of scrimmage, not even just in the box. They was at the line of scrimmage.
By the way, I'm going to let you know this is a good math equation. So if you have 8 guys in the box, you have 5 people blocking those.
Can't. I mean, there's 3 guys there.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, not, you feel me there. I mean, that's where the problem is.
It's just not happening.
No, we're good. So let's talk about the defense, though. Outside of LSU's first drive, which was, I think, 68 yards, they kind of just drove down there and did what they had to do.
Yep.
Outside of that, they only had like 9 yards in the first half total.
Yeah.
Like they had like 77 total yards in the first half.
That's why I'm saying this defensive performance was solid. And I mean, you think we had 308 yards, they had 295. We had 302 passes to their 186. We held them to 109 rushing yards, although they held it. I think I don't know what number I've been saying. I think I said 9 or whatever. It's 6 rushing yards.
That can't be sack adjusted. That's got to be like total, including the sacks.
I mean,
there's no way you only had 6 yards rushing.
Yeah, I mean, it was more than, like I said, and it was worse.
Yeah,
it could have been a lot worse.
Yeah, you could have negative, which you were almost at.
Stats wise, other than rush yards, we did decent. Other than they went for it on 4th down 7 times and got 5 out of the 7.
I say they got 4 out of 7, 5 out of 7.
5 out of the 7.
Let's talk about the fake. No. Let's talk about that fake punt pass.
Now I will give them this. It was a good.
It was a
design,
not a design run, but it faked the run up the middle, and he just.
It was a good design.
I loved it. I
called it a good time.
Yeah, I literally LOL'd when I saw that.
It's this LSU team
ain't that bad.
They're not terrible, but here's why I think they stepped it over the last couple games. Their coach is gone after this season. What do they have? Oh, we lost because we did this. Who cares?
Who cares? We're
done. I mean,
there's a chance we're transferring at the end of the year.
They're literally playing just, and I'm going to say it. I don't even care. Don't give a fuck. I mean, they're playing just don't care. I mean, and that's that. I think that's their chip on their shoulder is they don't care what happens. So,
it is what it is. Let's ball out.
I mean, they make plays when it happens. Now, I will say if they had a better quarterback this past week, they would have beat us.
Speaking of quarterback. Did you hear the controversy over there? So apparently, the guy that's it's not Miles Brennan.
Nuss
it's another guy, maybe third string.
There's a Nuss guy that
his dad is the QB coach for the Dallas Cowboys. That's how you know what I'm talking about. So
Nussmeier, that's him.
Cool, Doug.
Yeah.
Oh man, I remember him from back in the day. Anywho,
yep.
Apparently the dad, this guy you're talking about, Doug, reached out to the offensive coordinator for LSU and was like fussing because his son didn't play enough.
Yeah, I mean they've been there's talks now of
Well, they were under the impression he wanted a red shirt too.
yeah.
Or that was it was lack of communication. What this boils down to is lack of
now
communication.
I did see where Ogeron said that he wanted if he was going to play him, he wanted it to be meaningful snaps, not just putting him in there to put him in there.
Yeah.
So I don't know what that boils down to or nothing.
Yeah, but if you're 20-something years old, don't have your father call the coach. I don't care what capacity. I don't care if it's Donald Trump. Yeah. Don't have your father call the coach. Man up, handle it yourself.
Yeah, for sure. And
openly communicate with your coaches.
Yeah, and I mean, I've said it. Defense, I think they played. I will give them probably like a B minus, maybe a C plus, somewhere in that range.
I'm definitely giving them B.
And I don't even know how to place offense because Bryce did phenomenal. Rush game did terrible.
All right, let's say
let's split them in the middle.
Nope. Bryce is A. Run game was F. Let's call it a C. C plus.
We'll call it a C plus. So C plus teams all the way around. This is what we had, and we did end up winning. I'm happy with the win. I'm not happy with how we played. So hopefully this weekend we can rebound and get some things straight.
Check out the Week 11 preview episode coming up next.
But
that's all I gotta say.
Yeah,
I enjoyed ripping Alabama a new one because it was deserved.
Yeah, and I will say if we make it through the season and do end up playing Georgia, if we played like we played against LSU, we're done. We're toast.
Yeah,
there's no doubt in my mind we're toast. And Alabama's number 2 ranking.
Don't matter.
Doesn't matter.
If you lose it, with the way Alabama's been playing, with a loss, if they lose versus Georgia, they will not make it to the playoffs at this point, which is the exact opposite thing I said earlier this season.
Yep. And you are vulnerable right now. Alabama is vulnerable, no doubt.
Yeah.
And everyone sees it. I mean, you can be an Alabama fan and you can still see it.
If you're not seeing it, you're blind.
Yeah, there's no doubt.
You've got to take off the red and white glasses.
This is a young Alabama team. They're 4th in the nation, I think, in playing the youngest team in the nation. So they gotta grow. They gotta build. Offensive line's got to gel. So there's still time, but you're running out slowly but surely.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, I think I'm pretty much solid on that. So thank y'all for tuning in, man. Make sure you check out the Week 11 preview. That's coming up right. We're going to record that right after this one. I'm going to go ahead and tell y'all.
I want to take the hoodie off so it's going to look like I'm doing something a little different.
But thank y'all for tuning in. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, the like button, drop comments below. Let us know what you thought about the Alabama game and the Auburn
implosion of offense.
Very well, both could have had L's this weekend. Mm-hmm. So, but other than that, thank y'all for tuning in, man. We'll see you next time.